So I had some requests for my bagger dolly, so I thought I'd show it to you today as I'm hooking it up. A couple of questions that I've been asked in the past is how the rear linkages work for the dolly, because it's not supposed to be on the hydraulics. So I'm going to point out a few key things here. If you just buy the DX tractor by itself, you get one adjustable link arm and the other one is fixed, and these normally attach to your hydraulic arms. When you buy the bagger, you're supposed to get a second link arm that's adjustable, as well as these fixed brackets, stationary brackets that go to either side. So before you hook this up, you have to switch your link arms from the hydraulics over to the fixed mount, and then use your linkages to raise it up off the ground to line it up with the pins on your bagger. Now what I've done for my dolly, this is actually sitting at the same height that it would normally sit when it's on the ground. What I did is I made up my dolly out of 2 Harbor Freight, the smallest dollies they have, and I'll flip this upside down so you can see it once I'm done. And then I just put a piece of some scrap plywood that I had lying around on top of it to form a solid platform. I measured that height from the ground, and then I added an extra hole in the feet to raise them that much higher off the ground than it would normally be. So if I drop the feet down into their original holes, the bagger would be sitting at the same height that it is now. So effectively, from the tractor's perspective, this is the same height as if it was sitting directly on the ground with the stock holes. So now that I've switched the arms over to the fixed points, I've released my telescoping arms so that these can slide around. I'm going to go ahead and continue hooking it up. Alright, so everything's latched in now, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the dolly out from underneath it. So you can see there, those are just two of the smallest Harbor Freight dollies with a sheet of plywood screwed to the top of it. Pretty simple. And all that's left to do is raise the feet up into it, lock the telescoping arms in place, and tighten down the lock washers, or sorry, lock nuts. And that's about all there is to it. A couple of other things I wanted to mention. The plywood base of this dolly looked a lot bigger than it needed to be just for the feet of the bagger. But that's because I also store the tube underneath it, as I've got shown here. So the length of it was mostly to support that tube. Also, when I laid the tube in there, I use the same clip that holds it on the mower deck to loop around the foot, just to give it something to help keep it up on the deck. And something else I also wanted to mention in the video is when you're switching the link arms from the static mount over to the hydraulic, you do have to rotate them 180 degrees. So this has to turn, and that's what lets it go onto the hydraulics. Just like that. I'll see you in the next video.